This week's update made possible by Taggart's Garden Center. So we got kind of a tropical theme going today.
So we started?
We are running.
Okay, fantastic.
And it might get a little warm in here today. You know, we're in Taggart's greenhouse.
Yeah.
And
bought a lot of plants that we got to plant in our garden.
well, you know, you buy stuff from there that they actually grow.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, I can't kill them quite as fast, I guess.
yeah.
And we have they gave me a new desk buddy today. This is Cactus Jack. Hey, you need to go down to Taggart's south of town and get you one of those.
There was a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and some other folks, and one of the characters' names in that old Western was and Moery.
Could have been.
Mm-hmm. She was in there, and she's attractive. Yeah,
I think so.
And so that she was like the love interest between Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other gentleman, and the other guy's name was Cactus Jack. It was a cowboy movie. So
okay, very cool.
I didn't know if there was any relationship or
no,
not.
he's just kind of a cool guy. Sits there and doesn't cause much trouble.
Yeah.
So, but
very Christmas color-ish already.
Yes,
so.
And you know, I'm probably going to get this wrong. This is Eddie and Marissa that run Taggart's. I think they used to be like one of the biggest cactus suppliers like in this whole region. I'm probably getting this wrong. If I am, Eddie, send me a text. But anyway, yeah,
King and Queen of the Cacti.
Could be.
Okay.
Yes. All right.
Well,
let's get into
one
this.
other
go ahead.
real quickly. Another tie to that is the two new metal buildings at the school. The carport that is protecting the cafeteria van.
Yep.
And the
children
long lean-to that's protecting
cattle
the children.
Barn, or what did you call
that? Yeah, the loafing shed.
Yes. Okay.
That we're changing into a pickup shed. Those came for Taggart's.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very good. Well, if
We
you
shop
need
local.
if you need a building to put your kid in,
Yeah,
Eddie Taggart can fix you up.
you can, or park your cafeteria van.
Yes.
Either one.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Things seem to be getting a little calmer at school.
I think we've hit a routine where we feel a little more comfortable in what's expected of us. And again, we've been in school a month, and we've had our share of. I don't think anyone went into this thinking we won't have any COVID-19 cases. That would just be foolish to think we'd go the whole year without any. And so we've had our share. We've dealt with them, moved on, and again, the first round of kiddos that went home are all kind of coming back, being in class. So yeah, I think we're hitting a stride a little bit, and just hope nothing throws us a curve.
Good.
So, do you want me to start with stuff, or do you have questions or comments? I got a few early videos or questions about stuff, but
I just had a couple of
so.
things there, like the big cross country meet happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Was
it yesterday? Day before.
It was this weekend.
Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Today's
there was
Thursday.
like 500 kids there.
There was a ton
that
of
was a
kiddos.
big deal.
Yeah,
I didn't
was.
realize that was such a big thing.
Yep.
And then you're going to talk about more about this, but there's football. Is this our first real game, or is this still?
No, Crescent was our first actual counts on our record game.
Okay.
Hinton will be our second. These are both. I believe these are both non-district games.
Okay, and this is at Hinton.
At Hinton.
Okay, and you're going to detail that more in a minute.
A little bit. Do you want me to do that now, or do you want to run through your stuff and then come back? Or?
No, go ahead. Let's talk about football.
So the Hinton football game specifically, we are actually homecoming for them. They're going to do that prior to the game, so don't rush up there to get in, because there's, again, a whole homecoming things going on before they start the game. There are some things you need to know, like there's no concession stand, but they're going to allow people to bring food and drinks in.
Oh,
so again, if you have to load up before you leave town, so you can kind of spend your money locally, you can get all your snacks and your drinks and maybe a little bit of ice for the cooler and take them down there. And then when you go in, you can have your kind of like it's a personal concession stand. Mm-hmm. They do have bathrooms that are just for the visitors, and those will be available. Their chain gang is going to be masked up. So, because the chain gang is always on the visitor's side, and so we requested
you didn't
that.
think of that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
good.
Parking for the bus and for the fans are going to be towards the southwest football field. So when you guys go park, look for the Hennessey school bus. It's going to be the yellow cheeser because we are still working on getting the graphics put on the new white bus. So it's going to be a cheeser. Look for it and park in the same area because there's a gate, I guess, between their dome and their football field that all the visitors will go in.
Okay.
So look for our school bus. The locker rooms are separate. Entries, and there are no fans going to be allowed on the field. Okay. So those are just some heads up going in.
But they can sit in the bleachers.
Sitting in the bleachers would be okay. Standing on the field would be not okay.
Gotcha.
So stay in. I mean, you could probably stand in the bleachers, but be kind to those that are behind you, and so you don't block their view.
While on that,
okay.
For those of you that don't want to trek down there for that, we are going to do our best to broadcast it live. I'm working with Patrick to try to help make that work, and then we will have highlight photos also. So we're covering the game for you if you can't make it, and we will post the score at halftime and at the final. So you'll know what that on All About Hennessey Facebook and allaboutHennessey.com, and I'm sure it'll be on the school site
website
also.
Well. Okay, very nice.
All right.
A couple quick things. Football general. There was some discussion about handicap parking. That has always kind of traditionally, not officially, but traditionally has been on the east end of the football field stands where people would park their vehicles. They would stay in their vehicles and watch from there. I had some questions about is that still available, and you would need to check with Gary Beeman. He takes care of all our transportation, and we are also now parking the visitors' buses and stuff in that same area. So we'd need to check with the school before you go in there, but that is available.
That gate's been locked or closed.
Closed,
anyway.
yeah. And I think we're going to try to make that available. But call the school if you have traditionally used that area and want to again call us, and we will work with you if you're again. But it's the parking is for people who are going to stay in their vehicle and watch the game from their vehicle, not park their vehicle and then go watch from somewhere else.
Yeah, because there will be visitor people in that area, so that's keeping that separation thing.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, but check with Gary Beeman or call the school. We'll work with you to get that.
And all the numbers
place.
And email addresses are in the description of this video.
Okay. Very nice. We're still doing that deal where we're pointing at it like the Honda girl?
If you'd like.
Okay. Very nice.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing that is a ongoing tradition that has got to kind of come to an end for this year is the elementary school free-for-all and football game that goes on underneath the stands and on the west end of the field. We've kind of blocked that off. Again, if you're bringing your kids to the game and dropping them off, you need to stop. We're not a babysitting service, and they cannot just run around and play underneath the stands and in the west side of the stands. So again, that's something that traditionally has broken out regularly, and we just can't have it this year with all the other things we got to deal with. So please keep your kiddos in the stands with you, and don't allow them to run wild underneath the bleachers.
Running amok.
Running amok.
What
yes.
movie is that from?
No amucking.
Amok.
I pass.
I forgot anyway, so never mind. Okay, if you know what that amok is from, comment and we'll address it next week. It seems like all the other sports are doing well. It seems like they're going on normal, and you've got a lot of seems like 1 million baseball and softball games going on.
Right.
Volleyball.
Well, we have no baseball. We're not a fall baseball team.
Okay.
School. Several schools around us are fall baseball, but Hennessy's playing football, and so we have softball for the girls, volleyball for the girls, and football for the young men, and then cross country for both young men and young women.
Gotcha.
So we do have, and this they're moving forward pretty well. We had, I think this will be 2 matches that we've had for volleyball, and then the one tournament. Got a really nice thank you card from one of the schools that attended the volleyball tournament about how much they appreciated the efforts that were made to keep their kids safe, and they felt really good about being here.
I got an email from another school, emailed me asking what procedures you used at the football game, because it worked really well. I guess they were there.
No, very nice.
And then
so it had to be Crescent, or maybe another school that
I think it was another
watching.
school. Yeah, so I emailed them your thing, and
okay, very good.
That was cool.
Well, and Coach Hicks, he's head football coach, but he also serves as athletic director, and it's a pretty tough task for him to be getting ready for a game, but also having to manage all that. So Rita Huntsberger always helps out at the gate, and Patty I can't think of Patty's last name, but she worked the cafeteria with her. So we got a lot of folks pitching in to help make that all fly.
Very good. What else you got?
Okay, so we have a weekly Zoom call with Superintendent Hoffmeister, and they'll bring in different people of note on a certain topic that's pertinent at the time. And so, of course, COVID is. So we had Jared Taylor, the state epidemiologist. He's the interim. I guess they had one, and now they don't. So he's the interim one. And there was a couple things that really stood out in the conversation. One of them was that because the school has really taken the lead up to now in identifying the kids or anybody with a positive test and addressing that ourselves. Well, in the meeting, Dr. Taylor was more than adamant about the fact that we have no role in making the decision as a school. Our role is to alert the state health department on positive cases of the COVID virus, and they take it from there. They will determine who is to be quarantined and for how long and when they can come back. We will, of course, carry that information back and forth to the people involved. But there was a situation where a couple schools were playing in a scrimmage. It wasn't a game, it was actually a scrimmage. There was a student at a later time came on and was identified as being positive for the COVID disease. And the Canadian County Health Department went back and viewed video and quarantined the whole Choctaw, I wasn't going to say the name, but anyway, the whole football team from video, as well as the opponent. They went back and quarantined, I think, 5 or 6 students.
Anybody that was near that person.
Right. And that was the other thing that was really brought out, was that we've kept talking a lot of times about that social distancing, that if you are 6 feet away for under 15 minutes, you're probably okay. Well, that was described as a mere suggestion. There's nothing magical about 6 feet. That wasn't the same at 5'5" or 6'7". It didn't matter. If you were in contact with another person and maybe you just were working together and you coughed, that was enough that you would be considered a close contact. No matter if it was in the first 15 seconds or you sat and got coughed on for 15 minutes. The 6 feet for 15 minutes is not a cure-all. There was discussions about, well, could we rotate it 13 minutes? And they said, no, none of that will work. They're going to go back and decide, okay, what would be the real impact of that contact that was possible. So the things that we've been using as CDC guidelines are now kind of being superseded by the state health department.
Jiggling just as soon as you get it figured out, they'll change it.
You see, we get a little comfortable with what the situation is. Something will come up just like this meeting, and through everybody, there was everyone. It's just started. The questions just started popping up. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And there was discussion about what about testing? And he said testing is data. It's not a diagnosis. So a test doesn't give you anything but a tool to work for towards the diagnosis, whether that person can come back or not. You cannot test out of close contact. He also used the term effective contact. That's another one. Exposure, close contact, and now effective contact are basically all the same thing. That 6 feet, 15-minute rule. That is no longer a rule, but a suggestion. But he talked about it's the exchange. If you are close and you have this exchange of respiratory contact through the fluid in your mouth as you're talking, you got
Our
that in
salad
place.
bar thing. Yeah.
So, but it said there, if you're singing or someone's coughing, yelling, sneezing, there's a lot of things that if you just happen to walk by, and a sneeze occurred at that moment. It's allergy season, so if you sneeze at that moment, the people that would be in the trajectory path of the sneeze and the contents of that sneeze would be considered an effective or a close or a exposure. And so that would, again, the 6 feet, 15-minute would no longer apply.
Okay.
The other thing they pointed out was that there's a difference in clinical and epidemiologist. The public health department overrides the local doctor. The health department is in charge of quarantine and isolation, kind of like we've talked about a little bit. Also, the school is in a position where we may not allow them to come to school, but we don't follow up and keep track of everybody, before and after school once they've been quarantined to the home. We expect the students and the parents to do that themselves. Sometimes they don't, but the state health department can issue an order, and that person can be charged and forced into quarantine and isolation if that was necessary. And then you can't be on school property once you're quarantined. You have to. It's not a suspension, of course, but you can kind of think of the same way those rules would be applied. And the other thing was one of the easiest to identify symptoms is the loss of taste or smell, because it's a very unique experience.
There was some school, somebody, friend or whatever, they make them smell something every morning, and they have to identify what the smell is, and that's a trigger. They take the temperature and then make them smell something, and ask them what is that, and if they can't smell it, then they go for further testing. So.
Well,
okay.
That's an interesting. We wasted all that money on cameras. We could have just said,
we could have just
my finger.
had a banana or something. Yeah. So
I wish I'd have waited.
Yay.
So I think that's about all I had specifically that we needed to talk about.
Well, and this weekend is Labor Day.
It is.
And Monday school is closed.
I believe school is out Monday.
And is Friday a part day, or is that a full day?
It's our regular 2:00.
Okay, so it is a short day. 1 hour.
Yeah, all the Fridays are early release for the kiddos, but like we may have professional development and stuff like that goes on. Yeah, I'm pretty. Don't hold me to that. So don't come up and pick your kid up next Friday, and it's actually not, because I think that's what it is. But the principals don't tell me stuff I don't really need to know.
Okay, some changes we'll try to tell you.
Yeah, we'll try to get it back on the next. We'll do this again before the next Friday.
Yes,
I know this Friday is a short Friday, so because we'll if anything changes about that, we'll cover that next Friday. So
very cool. All right, and a special note: we just finished a We're Going in America episode featuring the school and how to open a school during a pandemic.
Right.
And I hope if you do get to watch it, share it. Let's push that around the country, because what Hennessey is doing is very unlike many schools are doing. I'm from the Upper East Coast, and they're talking 4 months before they reopen. It's just like I don't know what the deal is, but
a lot of places also are struggling because they ordered technology back early in the summer, but because of the whole issue with China and how that relationship is, they're not getting their equipment in, so they're not able to be online. Even if they did do virtual, they don't have all the stuff they need to be in place, and we're blessed.
And that's one of the things that this video highlights, is that the Hennessey School was prepared. They had started this thing 3 years ago? 3 years ago.
3 years up, we started putting a device in every kiddo's hand.
With no clue that we were going to be in a pandemic, but now they're very well prepared. Yeah. So
we're working on that hard and fast right now. We did finally get all of the room partitions in place, and so we're able to. I'm going around, and we'll start using the student technology people tomorrow, I think, or maybe Monday. We may kind of get them set up for tomorrow, or actually it'll be Tuesday since Monday's closed. But we're getting all of the technology and the parts that connect everybody. That's finally all here. We're just working hard to get it installed now.
Buttoning it up now.
Button it up so everyone can. If you have to go home and you're quarantined, you could teach from home.
Very cool.
If you had a reasonable internet speed, you could from your COVID hideaway, you could be teaching.
Very cool. So that episode will hit Saturday morning, so watch it. It's really interesting. I was surprised all of the things that we never really thought about that is happening and have been happening that led up to this. And then if you would like your business sponsored or featured, or we film at your business, like this tropical paradise we're in today at Taggart's Garden Center, drop me a note. We'll see if what we can do.
So would it be appropriate for whoever we are sponsored to provide some sort of drink and snack related things?
I'm thinking that needs to be part of it. Cookies, cupcakes,
cacti.
Cacti. Yeah. It's a singular.
Yeah.
That I'm okay.
Just a thought.
That's a requirement. We'll put that in the contract.
Okay. Well, there you go. Went from a thought to a requirement.
All right, Mike. thank you so much.
Thanks, Jack.
Have a
Appreciate
good
all
holiday.
you're doing for the school. Oh, hey, one quick thing is we had a group come in and look at the event center. We bought some of the equipment, well, all the basketball and volleyball equipment, the goals and stuff like that. They came from south of Dallas up. They wanted to see the facility and took oodles of video and pictures, and they're going to send a crew or get with you, and they want to do more, so they can use that as kind of their flagship.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's, the money that the folks voted to spend, I think, has been well spent, and has so far produced the results we hoped that it would.
Well,
produce.
I'm excited for the people that I know. The majority of Hennessey hasn't even been in it yet,
Right.
And the only part they've seen is through these videos we've done.
Right.
But I'm excited for this to be all over, and you can actually go in and just really check the place out.
Start doing the events. We've had some great thoughts on an MS walkathon, other things, and we're anxious to be able to get to do those events for the community, because again, we appreciate it so much. I had a person walk in and say, I voted no, and I'll vote no again next time. But this is really nice. So again, even if,
Well, at least
if
he
you voted
acknowledged
no,
we did a good job with his money.
absolutely,
yes,
and we want you in the facility as well. Whether you voted yes or no makes no difference. We built it for the community. So
Very cool. All right, that's it. Happy Labor Day. See y'all next week.
thanks, Jack.
This week's update made possible by Taggart's Garden Center.